Hey everyone, it's Bethany. Welcome back. In this video, I'm making a really cute Halloween card, and I told you I was going to use this stamp set once again. I did a fun card with just the ghosts previously this year, and I'm bringing this stamp set back because I just have to use the little Frankenstein and the witch. So I'm going to start out with my Misty and 80-pound cardstock. I'm going to get the two stamps that I want to use for this particular card, and I'm excited because I really love coloring. It's something that is really relaxing for me, so that is exactly what we're going to do for this card. I'm going to go ahead and prime these stamps. They're brand new to me, so I'm just going to make sure I get that coating off of there so that that first stamp is really nice. And again, I'm going to do some coloring with alcohol markers. So I'm going to use this Memento ink in the color Tuxedo Black. This is an ink that plays friendly with alcohol markers and doesn't smear, so that's why I'm going to use that. I'm going to go ahead and double stamp this just to get a really nice contrast. And this is going to be a really cute card. I'm just going to spoil it and say I think this is one of the cutest Halloween cards I've made. Okay, so I will definitely list every Copic marker color that I use down in the description box below. But to start out, I'm going to go ahead and start coloring this Frankenstein, and I wasn't quite sure of the color combination that I wanted to do, so I start with this G21 for my lighter shade, and I go ahead and do all over color on the areas that I want this nice green. And I actually love this color. I think it is the exact color for the little Frankenstein. Then I go in with this darker shade. It's G24, and I actually end up not loving how it blends out. So right now I'm loving it and I'm thinking this is going to be so cute, but then I grab my lighter shade to blend it out, and I feel like once I do this, it takes on a darker color than I really wanted. And you can see I'm kind of thinking, I'm not sure. So what I did is I stopped, I went ahead and I re-stamped out my little Frankenstein, and I'm going to go ahead and recolor it with just the lighter shade, so that G21. All right, so again, I'm going to go really fast through the coloring. I think it's kind of fun to watch it in fast motion. So we're going to go ahead and speed this up. So today I'm doing a voiceover. You know that I don't do these very often, but at the time of recording this video, I was prepping my family to go to Disneyland, and we took our kids for the very first time. And oh my goodness, it was the best trip our family has ever taken together. It was so fun. My kids are 3, 6, and 8, so the ages were absolutely perfect. I was a little nervous that 3 was going to be too young, but our son, who is 3, just did amazing. So the reason I tell you this is I did a voiceover because all of the packing and prepping for Disney was exhausting. And once we got there, it was so fun, but prepping for a vacation for a family of 5 was a lot of work. So by the time I went to record this, I just really needed some downtime, some me time, and times to be still and quiet. So that's why I did a voiceover this time. Don't worry, these are not normal for my channel if you don't enjoy them, but every once in a while they're very necessary for me just to be able to still create for you, but also build in just some quiet time for myself. All right, so again, I'm going to keep coloring this little witch, and one of my favorite colors to use during Halloween is a lilac. I've used it on a few cards in the past Halloween seasons that I've been card making, and I just love how this looks. So I have V000 and V12. I like this color combination. It takes quite a bit to blend it together, but once it's blended, it's so pretty. And I love just how simple and clean it is, and it still has a fun little Halloween vibe, but it's definitely a little bit more of my style. So I'm going to go ahead and do her dress, but I'm also going to bring this lilac or lavender color into the little belt on her hat, if you want to call it that, or the little strap on her hat, but I think it's going to be just super sweet. So another thing that I really like to do when I am coloring, just to make my image just a little bit more softer, is I like to omit black and go for a gray instead. I have a style that's a little bit more light and bright, so you can definitely use the colors that reflect your style much more, but I really like having more of a pastel look with my creations, so one of the ways that I kind of soften that is to go with a gray instead of a black. Then I went ahead and added some rosy cheeks. I went ahead also and did more of a sherbet colored little pumpkin. I love that look. I'm not a fan of orange, but sherbet is one of my favorite colors if I'm going to use orange. And then I'm just gonna add some simple accents with this white gel pen. This is something that is so simple, but it is so effective. I also use this to help mend areas where I color out of the lines, and it's very, very handy to use. Now with some washi tape, I'm grabbing those coordinating dies. I'm actually making sure to place that washi tape more on the outside of the die, just so that if it accidentally sticks too much to my little colored image, it doesn't pull up any of the color or rip it once I run it through my die cut machine. Usually that's not a problem, but I always just err on the side of caution and try to put my tape more on the outer side. And then once they're cut out, I just feel like this is one of my favorite parts. I have a lot of favorite parts of card making, but I love seeing those little pressed edges that the metal dies do. Okay, grabbing a little mini trimmer, I'm gonna trim down my cardstock. Again, this is 80-pound cardstock, and this final size is going to be 4 by 5 1/4. This allows me to have a 1/8 inch margin around my card. And then I'm bringing in this beautiful color called Lilac. This is from Concord and Ninth. I love this color. It's really, really light. What I want to do here is I want to match the color of her dress and bring that into the background a little bit. So I went ahead and put some of that color onto my glass mat, and then I added some water just to water that down. As you can tell, that's extremely light. And what you need to remember when you are playing with your inks is that some colors are really, really bright right away, but some colors are a little bit more neutral and soft. And lilac is definitely one of those for me. So don't be afraid to add a lot of it because it takes a little bit for it to show up. And then I'm grabbing this distressed spray. It's a really pretty fossilized amber color. And I'm sorry you can't see it too well on the screen. I feel like at the end of the video you see it a little bit better, but this just sparkles. It really, really glows. I love the look of this. And again, you'll get a better look at the end. Okay, I'm going to use that same color of Lilac from Concord Ninth, and I'm going to use that as my card base. So I have a cardstock piece at 11 by 4 1/4, and then I just placed my score mark at 5 1/2. This is going to give me a top folding A2 size card. And again, A2 is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Now I'm taking that panel that I put those little splatters on, and I'm going to bring that right back into my MISTI, and I'm going to stamp my sentiment right onto the card base. This is an adorable sentiment. When I found this stamp set, I immediately wanted it not only for the cute images to color, but I love this little sentiment, trick or treat, smell my feet. It's something that every time Halloween runs around, I feel like I'm always saying this. It's something that we always said as kids, so I love the sentiment and I wanted to put it on the card. And then the last thing that I'm going to do to kind of finish up this card is add some foam tape to the back of my panel. Then I'll go ahead and open up my card base and we'll attach that. I really like having some foam tape on the back just to add a really tiny subtle bit of dimension. It's just so pretty. And again, because I trimmed that down, I have that 1/8 inch margin, so you can get a little peek of that lilac framing the card, and it's just so pretty. It just makes the color of that dress pop as well. Okay, now we're gonna bump these little cuties up on the card. I have 2 different types of foam square, and they are in a bigger size and a smaller size, and I use both of them quite a bit, and I find them super handy when putting them on the back of these small die cuts. But again, this is just another way that you can add some visual interest by bringing the little bit of dimension that these foam squares offer. Sorry, I'm a little tongue-tied, I'm getting sleepy, but I think it's something that's so subtle, but it really elevates the card. All right, so there are those 2 cuties. We're gonna round this out with some sequins. I thought it would be really pretty to do a gold disc. I get a lot of questions of where this little round container is from, and this is from the Dollar Tree. They have a couple sizes. This is their smaller size, and it's perfect for sequins. I don't put all of my sequins in here, but I put my favorites that I grab time and time again, and so that's why you'll see that peek into my videos from time to time. And there's the final look. I love how this card turned out. I feel like this is one of my favorite Halloween cards. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.